right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today, in a recent interview with Ron Harris on Ron's YouTube channel, Derek Lunsford confirms what we all pretty much already expected, and that is that he will not be defending his Arnold Classic title in 2026, so he is not doing the Arnold Classic Ohio. Now, I really don't think this is that surprising to very many people because I'm not really sure where the initial rumor even came from that he was doing the Arnold. I know it was reported on Olympia TV, but then I know that right after the Olympia on the Sunday seminar, Derek straight up said he wasn't going to be doing the Arnold because he wanted to focus on spending time with family and kind of just focus on next year's Olympia, which is what he said in the interview with Ron. And then also last week when I talked to somebody from the Arnold, they said they hadn't heard anything from Derek, and the list should be coming out really probably any day now. It's usually December 1st, early December. So the fact that they hadn't heard anything from him pretty much confirmed he wasn't going to be doing it. But I think at this point, the big three are probably going to be, well, we already know Andrew and Martin, but I think Andrew, Martin, and Nick are probably going to be the three big names on that list. Hottie is a maybe. Big Ramy is a maybe. But I think really the big three are going to be Andrew, Martin, and Nick. So this might be the first Arnold in a while that we don't have several or maybe even any former Mr. Olympia champs competing in, but again, maybe Hottie and Ramy. And I think with Samson saying that his goal for 2026 is to hit like an all-new, all-time high weight and put on all this size and get back to this big freaky mass monster, I really don't think there's enough time for him to successfully do that and then diet down and compete in the Arnold, which at this point is less than 3 months away. So I don't think we see Samson do it either. And I think as far as Derek not doing it is concerned, I think he's actually making the right move here. I know people are going to say, well, that $750,000 is hard to pass up. Derek did just win the Olympia. He won the three biggest shows of 2025. He put a lot of money in his pocket this year, and I think that, with another kid on the way and with his focus, being on family, and that's the reason for him, not doing the Arnold. I think if you set the money aside, him doing the Arnold would kind of be a lose-lose for him. If he wins the show, you already know what the online reaction is going to be, and that's going to be another, immense amount of backlash and stress on Derek's plate while he's about to have another kid. Because I honestly feel like the fan reaction to Derek winning the Olympia was probably one of the most vocal negative reactions that I've seen to an Olympia decision in a very long time. And I just have a feeling that fans are not going to be happy if he wins the Arnold. And should an athlete base, whether or not they're going to do a show on how the fans are going to react? Not necessarily. In fact, probably not. But if he wants to focus on his family, remove some of that stress and have that be his focus, I think that's probably better than doing the Arnold. But the reason I say it's kind of a lose-lose is so that would be the scenario if he wins. There's going to be a bunch of backlash regardless of how he looks because people just dislike him and his physique for whatever reason. But then if he loses the Arnold, it's also a lose because that kind of diminishes all the momentum he just built up by winning those three big shows in 2025, and then that kind of diminishes his momentum going into the Olympia, and then he doesn't even get that $750,000. So I think it's probably a wise decision for him and probably the best decision for him and his family that he steps back for a little bit because he already did it all in 2025. He won the Arnold, he won the Pittsburgh, he won the Olympia. He doesn't really have anything to prove in the next couple of months, but he will obviously be defending his Olympia title in 2026. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below about Derek Lunsford's decision not to defend his Arnold Classic title in 2026. Now, next up in the news, you have the latest off-season update from Goodvito. He's planning on doing the Arnold Classic South America. That was the show that he did to qualify for this year's Mr. Olympia. And honestly, Goodvito, I feel like, got overshadowed a little bit at the Olympia because there was so much talk about Derek versus Hottie. There was so much talk about, Nick Walker's placing. There was so much talk about Andrew Jacked. I feel like Goodvito taking a top 7 placing really was one of the standout stories of the Olympia. And I think he is probably one of the biggest up-and-coming bodybuilders of the year. But just because that Olympia had so many storylines going into it and then after it, I feel like the fact that he was top 7 was kind of overlooked. But it's really pretty incredible for his Olympia debut. And I think when you look at the physique that he brought to the Olympia, and I picture him, if he has a slightly fuller chest, slightly better triceps and kind of fixes those back poses, particularly the back double bicep, he's going to be a very, very dangerous guy. If he brings up those three things, the triceps, the chest, fixes the posing from the back, he is going to be, I think without a doubt, he's going to be a first call-out top 6 guy if he fixes those three things. And that's why I think he's one of the big bodybuilders that we need to watch in 2026, because I think if we start to see him make those type of improvements, he's going to be in the conversation at the Olympia in 2026 if he does that. And again, you look at this recent update, and you look at just the width of his lats. That front double bicep is just so crazy. The taper, the lats from the front, the size of his arms. I feel like he's a really slept-on bodybuilder, and I think realistically, he is 100% in the conversation for maybe a top 5 placing in 2026 with those improvements. And again, you look at the video from the Olympia. The fact that he was 1 placing behind Nick, keep in mind Nick was in 6th, I think you really could have made an argument for him over Nick at the Olympia. I legitimately think he's that good. I think he is kind of underrated right now. And I look forward to seeing what he's able to do. And I'm assuming he's probably going to win again the Arnold Classic Brazil title. But I think Rafael Brandao is doing that show again this year. So that's going to be a little bit more difficult for him to overcome because Rafael wasn't in the lineup this year at the Arnold Classic Brazil. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about the latest from Goodvito. Now, next up in the news, as we await the Arnold Classic competitor list, one of the big names that we're looking forward to seeing, hopefully in classic physique, is Mike Sommerfeld defending his title. A lot of people talking about the latest physique update from Mike Sommerfeld. He looks like he might be beginning a prep for a show that would be in March. And keep in mind, now that Mike has been re-heighted at a lower height than last year's Arnold Classic, that height is going to apply to this year's Arnold Classic. So it's going to be a different package, probably similar to what we saw at the Olympia, maybe a little bit better because the Olympia was such short notice for him trying to make that last-minute weight. And I think we probably will see Mike at the Arnold Classic. He didn't get the Olympia win. He's probably looking for a little bit more vindication, get his name, back in the mix in a positive way. I mean, the stories about Mike going into the Olympia, they were all pretty much mostly negative, with the whole controversy about his height and weight. And even though he was able to take a top 2 placing at the Olympia with the lower weight and the lower height, I feel like winning the Arnold again, or at least trying to defend that title and win the Arnold again, I feel like that kind of cements him still as a top classic physique threat, even at the lower height and weight. And I believe that Terrence Ruffin, Ruff Diesel, I think he already said he's not going to be doing the Arnold. I kind of doubt that Ramon would do it now that he's won the Olympia. I feel like he's probably going to focus on trying to defend that title. And from a conversation I had with Logan Franklin maybe a week or two ago, I don't think Logan is doing the Arnold. So honestly, at that point, it kind of seems like why wouldn't Mike do it? Because who's really going to beat him there then? I mean, it's not $750,000 for Classic, but it's still good prize money, and it's a huge title. So I'm pretty confident we probably are going to see Mike's name on that list when it comes out. And I think as we get into December here now, and the competitive season for 2025 is officially over, there's a pretty big gap between the Arnold and the end of the season. I think I'm going to get back into making bodybuilding history videos to kind of fill the space. There's not a whole lot of news. There's no competitions. We got about 3 months of that. So I think that's what I'm going to get back into. I was looking back at some of the old history videos that I made. And at this point, we're going into 2026. Some of those videos, a lot of them were 2016, 2017. It's been 10 years since I made a lot of them. I was thinking, maybe I could make them better. I could remaster them. I could do, better audio. There's a lot more pictures and videos and stuff that could be used for them, and I could make them longer. So I think that's going to be one of the projects that I undertake in the next couple of months. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I think I'm going to get back to some of that in this kind of downtime that we've got. But that's going to wrap it up for the video. I hope you guys did, in fact, enjoy it. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, click that bell notification icon if you have not already. And as always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at NickStrengthPower. my Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power, my secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel, and consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.